Yo, before we kick this off, do me a solid. Hit that subscribe button on USX Stories right now so you never miss the next legend. She stepped off the dusty Humvee in scuffed boots and a ponytail, looking like any other 20-something transfer straight out of college, until the three cockiest lieutenants on base decided to make her their welcome week punchline. They had no idea the new girl they were about to bully was Rear Admiral Harper Quinn, the silent legend who had just been handed secret orders to take command of the entire Pacific Fleet's most classified installation. One wrong move, and careers were about to end before lunch. If you love seeing arrogant bullies get instantly humbled by a woman who outranks, outsmarts, and outshoots every man on base, smash that subscribe button right now. Your mom and dad raised you to root for the real boss. So show some love, and let's watch karma hit like an F-35. Harper Quinn killed the engine of the beat-up rental Jeep outside the gate of Naval Station Cuckoo Point, Hawaii, the most secretive joint base in Pacific, and let the trade wind slap her face for the first time in 6 years. She was 32, 5'6" in boots, sun-bleached brown hair twisted in a careless knot, wearing civilian jeans and an oversized USNA hoodie that had the 2 stars now sewn inside her sea bag. The orders in her pocket were signed by the Secretary of the Navy himself. Assume immediate covert command. Root out the corruption ring that had turned the base into a black market superhighway for stolen weapons tech, and do it without anyone knowing the new admiral on deck looked like she should be fetching coffee. She slung a single duffel over her shoulder, flashed a perfectly forged appendant ID that read, Harper Quinn, E3, recent transfer from Norfolk, and walked to the gate like she belonged nowhere near the top of the food chain. The Marine sentry barely glanced up from his phone. Phase 1 was already working. Nobody expects a woman carrying her own luggage to be the one who can relieve every officer on base with a single encrypted text. Inside the wire, the base buzzed with the usual controlled chaos of a Friday morning. F-35 screaming overhead, sailors in dungarees jogging in formation, and a clique of lieutenants lounging against a Humvee like they owned the Pacific. Leading the pack was Lieutenant Commander Ryan Cowboy McAllister, son of a 3-star, holder of the base's unofficial record for most Article 15s without getting kicked out, and self-appointed king of making newbies cry. With him were his wingmen, Lieutenant J.G. Kyle Park, trust fund pilot with a $300 haircut, and Lieutenant Melissa Royce, Ice Queen Intel officer who'd failed upward ever since Daddy's defense contractor friends started writing performance reviews. They spotted Harper struggling with her duffel near the barracks checkpoint and smelled fresh blood. Cowboys sauntered over, Stetson pushed back on his head, like this was Pendleton 1985. Need a hand there, sweetheart? First time on a real base. His smile was all teeth and entitlement. Harper kept her eyes down, exactly the way a nervous E3 should. Yes, sir, just reporting in. Cowboy snatched the duffel from her shoulder and deliberately let it drop into the red Hawaiian dirt. Rule 1, new girl. Officers don't carry their own bags when enlisted are around. Rule 2, lose the attitude when a superior talks to you. Park and Royce laughed on cue. Harper bent slowly, picked up the bag, dusted it off, and said quietly, Understood, sir. Inside, she was already running facial recognition in her head. Cowboy's father was on the short list of flag officers suspected of selling targeting software to foreign brokers. Perfect. Let them dig their own graves. Cowboy wasn't done. You're assigned to base services, right? Good. Be at Hangar 7 at 1400. We need coffee runs for the ready room and someone to clean the heads after Marines finish their burrito Friday. Don't be late. He flicked her forehead with 2 fingers, just hard enough to sting, then strutted off with his posse. Harper watched them go, memorizing gait patterns, voice stress. The way Royce's left hand kept drifting to the concealed Glock she wasn't authorized to carry on base. She whispered into the mic hidden under her hoodie collar, Control, this is Phantom. Mark 3 new players for priority surveillance. And cue the popcorn. The voice that answered belonged to Master Chief Gloria Reyes, the only person on base who knew the truth. Copy, Admiral. They just volunteered for a career day. By 1345, Harper was in starch utilities with H. Quinn over the pocket, standing outside Hangar 7, holding a tray with 4 large coffees, exactly the way Cowboy liked it, black, no dignity. Inside, The ready room was a shrine to ego. Framed photos of cowboy squadron posing on carriers, a stolen North Korean flag on the wall, and a whiteboard ranking pilots by confirmed kills that everyone pretended was a joke. The 3 lieutenants were sprawled in flight chairs watching a drone feed of their morning hop. When she walked in, Cowboy didn't even look up. Took you long enough. Put the tray down and start scrubbing the latrines. Marines blew them up again. Harper set the tray on the table, then reached into her cargo pocket and pulled out a small black box the size of a deck of cards. She pressed a button. Every screen in the room went blue. The drone feed died, and the automatic door locks engaged with a heavy thunk. The lieutenant sat up like someone yanked their strings. Park reached for his sidearm. Harper finally let her voice drop into the register that had made admirals twice her age flinch in the Pentagon basement. Weapons on the table. Now! Cowboy laughed, actually laughed. Sweetheart, you just bought yourself brig time. Do you even know who my father... Harper tapped her collar where 2 silver stars suddenly glinted under the fluorescent lights. The room temperature seemed to drop 10 degrees. I know exactly who your father is. Commander, Vice Admiral McAllister, currently under investigation for selling Fleur pods to Chinese brokers through a shell company in Singapore. I'm here to give you one chance to help me burn his network to the ground before NCIS drags him out of the flag mess in handcuffs. Refuse, and you'll share a cell with him at Miramar. Silence you could have bottled. Royce recovered first, voice like ice cracking. You're bluffing. There's no way Pacific Command would send a... Harper slid a tablet across the table. On screen was live footage of Royce's own condo in Waikiki, time-stamped 20 minutes ago, showing a safe being cracked by federal agents. Your offshore accounts in the Caymans were seized an hour ago, Lieutenant. Your boyfriend in defense logistics just rolled on a whole ring to save his own skin. You're looking at 25 to life for espionage. Park went pale beneath his pilot tan. Cowboy's bravado cracked. Sweat beaded under his Stetson. Harper let them stew for 5 full seconds, then softened her voice the way a surgeon softens before the scalpel. Or you can accept non-judicial punishment, full cooperation, and maybe keep your commissions. Your choice. You have until I finish this coffee. She picked up Cowboy's cup, took a slow sip, and waited. The first one to break was Park, hands shaking as he placed his pistol on the table. Royce followed, eyes burning with hatred but alive with survival instinct. Cowboy lasted longest, jaw clenched so tight Harper thought he'd crack a molar. But even kings kneel when Daddy's empire's on fire. He dropped his weapon last. Harper smiled for the first time all day, small, sharp, and terrifying. Excellent. Welcome to Operation Clean Sweep, children. You now work for me. The next 72 hours were a masterclass in controlled chaos. Harper ran the entire takedown from a converted storage closet most sailors thought held holiday decorations, directing SEAL teams, NCIS raids, and drone swarms with the calm of someone ordering pizza. Cowboy, Park, and Royce, now wired for sound and terrified of Leavenworth, became her unwilling bait. They scheduled an emergency supply run to a warehouse in Pearl City that everyone on base knew was a front. Hidden GoPros in their uniforms captured Cowboy's own father greeting a Chinese colonel with a duffel full of next-gen targeting chips. The moment money changed hands, Harper's voice whispered in their earpieces, "Smile for the camera, gentlemen. You just saved yourselves." Floodlights snapped on, SEALs fast roped from Black Hawks that hadn't been on any flight schedule, and Vice Admiral McAllister found himself face down on concrete with a knee in his back while his son watched from the shadows, tears cutting trails through the dust on his cheeks. By sunrise Monday, the corruption ring was dismantled, 47 arrests spanning 3 continents, and $1.8 billion in stolen technology recovered. Harper stood on the flight line in full dress whites for the first time, rows of medals gleaming, as the base assembled for what they thought was a routine change of command ceremony. The outgoing commander, a tired one-star who'd been clueless about the rot under him, read the orders with genuine shock when he saw Harper's name and rank. Cheers erupted when the narrator announced that the youngest rear admiral in naval history had been working undercover among them for a week, drinking their bad coffee and cleaning their toilets just to prove no one is above the mission. Cowboy, Park, and Roy stood at attention in the back row, eyes forward, knowing the only reason they still wore uniforms was a woman now pinning a Navy Commendation Medal on a trembling E3 who'd carried her bag that first day. But Harper wasn't done. The final twist came at 2,200 that night in the officers' club during the congratulatory luau the base threw in her honor, as sailors toasted a legend who'd looked like a boot camp dropout, a lieutenant from Air Wing 9, call sign Viper, the one pilot Cowboy had always hated for being better than him, stood on a table with a beer in hand and shouted, "Nice story, Admiral, but we all know a woman your age didn't pull that off alone. Who was the real brains? Your boyfriend at CENTCOM? Daddy sent it friends." The room went dead quiet. Harper set down her untouched Mai Tai, walked to the lieutenant, and spoke so softly everyone leaned in. "Son, I was flying combat missions over Fallujah when you were still losing at Call of Duty. I have more traps on a carrier than you have total flight hours. And I did pull it off alone, with the help of 3 lieutenants who learned that underestimating the new girl is a career-ending mistake." She turned to the crowded room. "Anyone else want to test that theory?" Not a soul moved. Then Master Chief Reyes started slow clapping, and the entire club exploded in roars and whistles. Viper was on the deck 10 seconds later doing push-ups while Harper counted them out in Arabic, just to remind everyone she'd forgotten more languages than he'd ever learn. When she hit 100, she offered him a hand up. "Lesson over, Lieutenant. By the bar round and we'll call it square." He did, Wallet crying harder than his pride. Months later, letters started arriving at Harper's new flag quarters, handwritten on line paper from lieutenants now scattered to fleet. Cowboy wrote from a destroyer in the South China Sea, "Ma'am, I still hate your guts, but I'm the best damn officer on this ship because you scared me straight. Thank you." Roy sent a photo of herself in desert camis in Syria with the caption, "Turns out I'm pretty good when I'm not a traitor." Parr became an instructor at Top Gun and named his first daughter Harper. The Admiral pinned every letter on a shadow box in her office labeled "The Day They Learned." And every time a new transfer stepped off the bus at Cuckoo Point looking nervous, Harper made sure to be there in jeans and a hoodie, carry her own bag, wait to see who would offer to help, and who would try to knock it into the dirt. Either way, they were about to meet the boss. There you have it. America. The day the United States Navy remembered that rank isn't given, it's taken, and nobody takes it better than a woman they mistook for weak. Drop a comment and tell me what part of this great country you're watching from right now. Texas, New York, California, the Heartland, or somewhere out on a ship. I read every single one. Fair winds and following seas. Shipmates. See you in the next one.